Yes guys, in this next video, what we're going to cover is your basic movement pattern for any pushing movement. So we've covered everything except for press, which is in the next clip. But what we're going to cover here is push. Now, a quick hack to this, and I don't often use the word hack, but your pushing movements are very, very similar to your pulling movements, except the weight is now forcing from the other side of the body. Okay, so if you're pulling, remember we covered in the last video where you're retracting and depressing your shoulders and squeezing back. Again, that's your pulling movement. With your pushing movement, you're retracting and depressing your shoulders, except instead of the weight coming from this side, it's trying to push into you and you're pushing it away. So you're, instead of pulling the weight towards you, you're pushing the weight away, but you're still doing that same movement. Okay, and I'm going to demonstrate this just with a simple press up. All right, again guys, just ignore the fact I'm doing them on my fists. You don't have to do this. This is just because I've broken both my wrists before. So fun fact, I can't actually put my hand flat on the ground with my wrist mobility. So from here, I'm just in my standard press up position. Okay, again, I always keep my wrists at a slight angle. All right, so I never keep them completely straight. Keep them like this. It just is easier around your joint, your shoulder joint as well when you are pressing. So from here, I'm up in my full push-up position, and I'm not going to round my shoulders. I'm going to retract again and depress my shoulders. And from here, I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades back as I come down, and then I'm going to drive up. Okay? So I don't want you lifting up, I want you to try and push the floor away from you. And that's the movement we're doing. Squeezing shoulder blades back, driving up. So instead of doing a movement where you're coming down and your shoulders are rolling in, you don't want that. So this is where a lot of like bench press injuries will come from, where they'll kind of rupture their anterior delt. So you'll see with a lot of people doing bench press movements, as they're coming down, they'll tend to roll their shoulders in, and they'll rupture their anterior delt or their rotator cuff. Okay. Now, what they should be doing is their shoulders should be squeezed back and driven down, and as they come down, their shoulders actually not moving; it's staying back. So that's if I'm doing a push-up, same thing. Again, I can't do them on my hands, so from here, squeeze them back. Same movement, right? Rather than rolling in. You don't want to end up doing this. It's this. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're doing any pushing movement. Again, when you're doing a variance of that movement, such as like a dumbbell fly, again, same thing. Shoulders retracted, shoulders depressed, and from there, driving out in front. Similar movement. Again, with those more specific exercises, we will cover those in more detail. There will be if you go into the separate part of the lab, there is a separate video for each exercise where we'll cover those in more detail. But in general, retract and suppress your shoulders. Keep your wrists turned out slightly, your hands turned out slightly. That keeps your wrists, elbows and shoulders in line. Same way in a squat, you would point your feet out slightly so it keeps your ankles, knees and hips in line. Then you push and press. You notice a lot of this stuff is I'm saying the same thing over and over, just slightly different wording, right? Retraction, depression, so you're retracting your shoulders, depressing your shoulders, you're twisting something out to keep everything in line, okay? Same principles, slightly different specifics. So, pushing movements, just keep those things in mind, keep it simple. Again, start off light. How you lift the weight is more important than how much you're lifting, and then gradually build it up over time with good form.